Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Abilities Podcast. I am your host, Nick Earhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. All right, everyone. So today we have my friend Samara Beth. She is also a certified 10x business coach like me, but that's only a little small part of what she does and who she is. So, Samara, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
The $1 million question. What is I do I with my life? So I actually have been become a reinvention maverick in my life. Let's put it that way. I was married to the Navy, oil and gas, for 22 years, which meant moving a lot. And every 3 months to 5 years, I was packing and unpacking our lives, building a village for our family. I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 21-year-old son. As we are recording this in 2025, and we had to do a lot of moving and restarting over, and then it did end in divorce. But in that case, my husband became my husband, and I became a single working mom of 2 kids. And I have really enjoyed the experience of moving around and meeting new people and different cultures as well. But when I was standing in my empty home office, which I'm in right now, surrounded by boxes in my 30th home, 13th city, asking myself literally in tears, how am I going to start over again? And, like you might know, starting over in a business or a city, it's really freaking hard. It's really hard. And I became like this resilient bamboo. So I actually write books on going from little bamboo to badass bamboo.
I love that.
Yeah. And I help people create a stage experience. I actually been producing corporate, social, nonprofit events, destination management, and retreats for 30 years. I actually started even earlier than that. My mom was a conference planner, and I planned events like the ski trips and all the things for us and for in school growing up. And then I decided to become a 10x certified business coach after the divorce finalized, and I just lost my dad, and I was like, you know what? I really want the community, and I need that extra sales and marketing education from Grant Cardone, and I kind of fell in love with him and the team at a business summit that came to Tempe. I live in Arizona now in Scottsdale. And I have a new company. I ran my social events planning company for 12 years. It was called Celebrations by Samara out of Houston, Vancouver, British Columbia. We moved there. And then when we moved to Scottsdale, and we produced our last event, which was a nonprofit gala, just March 2020, right before quarantine. And we actually moved to Scottsdale in December 2019, right before COVID hit. So it was good though, because we came from Canada. So it got us back in the US. And never lived near any of my family for help or anything. So my parents moved to Scottsdale from Baltimore 16 years ago. And so I am now near my parents. My dad just passed away a little over a year ago, but my mom is here. And so, life goes on, and just being resilient and starting over. And I've added so much to my skill set and my plate. And I love that because I'm helping people I help entrepreneurs and coaches who produce events, retreats, summits, workshops, masterminds, but I also help them get on stages and build their brand. So one of my courses, Win Your Brand, is about winning, which win is willpower, innovation, networking, WIN. And winning your brand is important because once you have the brand really honed in, then it's time to create those events, get on stages, write your book, be credible, be the authority. And people kind of do it backwards. So I'm helping people do it in the right direction.
That's so awesome. And, with everything that you do, it goes with being a business coach hand in hand, you know? So that's what like I've always liked about you is you have your business and then you're just helping your clients with everything that you learn from 10x, you know? So I really like that.
Yeah, it's from 10x. And yes, I integrate the sales, the marketing, and the mindset that we learn training daily with the sales and executive team at Grant Cardone Enterprises, which is amazing.
Yep.
And also that community, because a lot of
Hmm.
people, they're coaches. We have other businesses. We're doing multiple things. Some of us are doing a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
Um, and that the joy of that is that we are attracting that same mentality, that
Hmm.
hustle, that go and do. But the reason why I started my retreat revenue masterclass called Paid to Vacation, it's because when I teach that, I'm teaching people how to 10x their lives as well and really have a healthy lifestyle, travel, be part with their families and their friends, and get paid to do it at the same time, and even employing your relatives,
Hmm.
so bringing them on board. And so the reason why I have so many different things that I do is because they all, I'm very conscientious in only taking on something that works with what I'm already doing
Hmm.
and
Yep.
works with what I want to be doing,
Hmm.
and something that I would easily will to my children
Hmm.
and that they could take over. So building a legacy, building an empire. I do wear Elena Cardone's building empire hat and clothes.
Yeah. Awesome. I- And so when you're working with your clients, what are like the top three things that you're working on that helps them?
That's a great question, Nick. So, the first thing is when I do a strategy Zoom with a client or potential client, I need to see where they're at
Mhm,
because everyone's at a different stage in their business and their life.
mhm,
And I have to say, even when I say life too, it's important because I work with a lot of people who may have gotten divorced during COVID or after COVID. Divorce rate got really high when people were stuck
Yep.
together, right? And
Yep.
couldn't travel, and their businesses were closed, and
Mhm,
they had a lot of money, maybe with PPO, but then they had no money because they spent it all. Like a lot of
mhm,
things happened. A lot of babies were born, so a lot of life changes happened during the COVID pandemic. And I know people are going to be listening to this in 2080. So I
Yeah.
have to like, I have to take that into consideration when I'm on podcasts, right?
Mhm,
So, but with those life changes, when they come to me, a lot of times they want something different. They might have lost their partner in business, because it was a community property, or the person they were married to, or their girlfriend or boyfriend was a business partner and their life partner, whether married or not. So that's a lot of life transitions for people.
oh yeah.
And I've been through a lot of life transitions. So because of that, I'm able to help people be resilient and have that willpower to keep going when life feels completely impossible.
Mhm,
And I've had those horrible feelings of, can I do this? I want to quit. I wanted this. I wanted that. What
same.
got me to where I am today? What got me out of depression and anxiety? What got
Mhm,
me to the stage that I am when my body was failing me because I was so physically ill and traumatized to being healthy. So those things are all really important. And when I speak with people, I can get a grasp that there's more going on in their lives. And for some
mhm,
reason, my whole life, people have told me way more than you know, I'm a psychology major and a health. I'm sorry, I was a psychology major, but I ended up minoring in psychology and switching to public relations and
mhm.
the College of Journalism with a minor in health and psych. And so
Wow.
for some reason, I have like this ability where people tell me everything like I'm their
Yep.
therapist. And so in doing that, you get to know them better. And I love that
Mhm,
because that's where the authenticity comes in and the truth comes in. And
yep.
then I can help them better because I know what's going on behind closed doors too. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh yeah, for sure. And when you're a business coach, you're not just helping people with their business. you're helping them with their life. Because if their life isn't right, their business will never be right.
That is 100% accurate, and I almost feel like I've become a life coach along with
Yep,
being a business coach, and
definitely.
absolutely, and I've even considered getting certified as a life coach as well,
Hmm.
because you when people's lives are in your hands, that's powerful
Yep.
and scary, right?
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
I raised a son who was diagnosed with autism at 13 months old. We lived in Hawaii. We were stationed in the Navy at the time, and he was very young, and we didn't know much about it. All we knew was Rain Man, because we didn't autism wasn't
Wasn't really a thing. Hmm.
not as much of a thing. It was there, but it was,
Yeah.
you're immediately like special education, and
Hmm.
there wasn't a lot about it like there is now. Now
Yeah.
we're trying to figure out why so many people are diagnosed with autism when they weren't before. Do we know more now? And it's easier to diagnose, and women are and girls are being diagnosed more now. He has a girlfriend that is on the spectrum too. So like all those things, is it that, or is it something that we're feeding them? Like they're obviously, that's where the whole make America healthy again and all that is coming in. We're trying to figure out in our country and in our world why that diagnosis is so much more, quote unquote, I hate using this word, popular, common, whatever,
Hmm.
than it used to be. And this was I'm sorry, 2000, I'm dating it, 2004.
Hmm.
So, when you're raising a child with special needs, and, you're also dealing with other things at the same time, um, it makes you more aware, it makes you more patient, and it makes you more empathetic towards
Hmm.
others. I believe that. I think that
Oh, oh yeah.
that was like a superpower given to me
Hmm.
more than what I had before, because I was New York City, fast moving, hustling, Fortune 500 clients, go, go, go,
Hmm.
to slow Navy wife life, to a
Yep.
son on the spectrum who couldn't ride a bike, who couldn't swallow food without throwing it out. Like there was so much, I mean, so much happening, not even day to day, month to month, week to week. It was minute to minute, right?
Yep.
And
Oh
so
yeah.
you have to, and I was running businesses, very successful businesses while doing that, and had a
Wow.
husband who was in the Navy with submarines at the same time. So it was a lot. It was
Oh
a
yeah.
lot, but you
That
get
is a
through
lot.
it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with you. Like you learn a lot of things when you have a child with special needs. I know my mom. She has thanked me for saving her life because if she would have had me, and she had me at 17, she
Mm.
was going down, not a great path, you know, lousy people she was hanging out with, all that. So it's like I came in and kind of pulled her out of all of that. And it's because, as you know, like, you gotta give so much care and attention and learn a ton of new things, figure out how to do things. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. My mom, she's usually the most patient person ever. She has a lot of patience because she's lived with me forever. Well, until I was 21. That's when I moved out. But yeah, like it's very it's awesome to talk to other parents because then I can relate to my mom more, like understand what all she went through. Just from you telling your story, that brought up a lot for me. So thank you.
Oh, I love that. I would love to meet her.
Yeah.
She sounds like an incredible woman,
Oh
and
yeah.
people would say to me, and I had a miscarriage, and I also had a son with giant omphalocele, and he's not with us. He was born a year before my daughter Ava,
Oh,
but
I'm sorry.
thank you. And he had a hole in his heart and 10% lung capacity, and it's a whole nother thing is in itself. But his name is Cameron, and you know, with those situations, people are always saying to you, God only gives what you can handle. I hate that saying. I hated that saying. I'm like, please do not say that to me. If one more person says that to me. but but we do overcome, we do. And
Mhm.
how do we do it? How do we do it? How did your mom get through that? How did you, Nick, get through all the challenges you've had to get through in your life? And then that's where, when you think about it, and you're like, because I'm also writing a solo book, and I'm also in book of human empowerment and survival to thrival,
Mhm.
different book series. In fact, our first book signing for a collab book is actually this Saturday at Barnes and Noble, so I'm
Oh,
super excited.
exciting.
It's my first
Yeah,
one,
that's awesome.
so I'm really excited. Um, but the reason why I came up with the win pillars is because they're simple, number one. And number two, they pretty much align with anything in any industry, right?
Yep.
I didn't want, like, I have different pillars and principles that I use for different things. Like, for example, with my retreat revenue masterclass, when I'm teaching people how to produce successful events, it's TRIPS, TRIPS, transform, recharge, ideal client, planning, and success.
Hmm,
So that's just like,
that's cool.
that's a framework, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
win is like a life work.
It is,
Just
for
said that
sure.
for the first time. I like that, actually. I
That
might
was
use that
that
next
was really good.
right here on Nick's show,
First time.
the Infinite Abilities Studio. So with the win, willpower to keep going when life feels impossible,
Mhm.
innovation to think creatively. That's, how do you step out of the box? How do you step out of your comfort zone? How do you do something bold, right? And there's so many ways to do that. And because I had a very successful, you can see, awards, right?
Mhm.
Because I had a very
Wow.
successful event business, I know the steps that it takes to get there. Did I make mistakes? Absolutely. That's part of the game. That's where the willpower comes in.
Yep.
But then networking,
Mhm.
networking to build powerful communities like the 10X community, like my author circles and my masterminds and all the groups. And I'm a part of a lot of different groups. I'm
Mhm.
part of AI consulting. I'm part of, and the Napoleon Hill group. Like, that's the thing too, is that all the groups that I'm in, the people that run them and are educating me are all, every one of them are world renowned.
Oh yeah.
World renowned,
Mhm.
because I align myself with the people that are can get me to where they are. And
Mhm.
that's why you hire coaches, like 10X certified coaches like you and me, right?
Yep.
It's because they know, and if they don't know, what can they do?
We can find out.
We can find out. We can
Mhm.
ask the right people by
Mhm.
texting them,
Yeah,
by,
exactly.
exactly. It's like, we are not 5 degrees of separation from these people. We are one
Mhm.
degree
Yep.
of separation.
Yeah. It's like
So
whenever I have a question in
yeah,
my business or about one of my clients, I can just reach out to somebody in my network and they have the answer. So within minutes, I can solve your problem.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
so
will tell you,
powerful.
when people text me, I text them back
Mhm.
within 24 hours,
Mhm.
because it's important.
Mhm.
Even if I can't get back to them, I'll text them and say, I'm out of town or whatever, you
Yep.
know? And it's being there for people, because I'll tell you, in my life, and I just turned 49, so I have a bit of a life. Um
I thought you
in
were 39, but okay.
Thank you. There go 10 years. Bye-bye. Okay, I'll take it. So, but in my life, I have had so many different things happen, and I've lived in so many different places,
Mhm.
and I can't keep up with everyone. That's
Yep.
hard.
Mhm.
That's been my biggest challenge in life, has been the best friend to all my best friends in all the cities I've lived in all the jobs I've worked in, or career paths and whatever.
Mhm.
That part's hard.
It
What
is.
made that easier for me was actually Facebook.
Mhm.
But then my 15-year-old Facebook account was hacked and brought, I had to bring it down. It was
That's
unfixable.
that's annoying.
And that was really hard. And that was right when my dad was dying. And so that was super hard for me. And I was just starting out. and building. I wasn't a 10x anything yet. And so when that was happening, I lost connection to thousands and thousands and thousands of people all over the world.
Mhm.
And those were the people even with the Clubhouse app and all that.
Mhm.
I still have my Instagrams, but it's not the same because my
Yep.
Instagrams aren't really like my friends from growing up, from preschool and
Yep.
middle school and elementary school and high school and college and all that, the Navy life and all that. So I lost contact with a lot of people. But that's why you got to have their numbers, you have to have their emails, you have to
Mhm.
stay in touch with people. And I do have all that, and I did email to people. So it's just having that connection, having those networks. But when you're starting a business and you're growing and scaling a business, you have to spider web effect it. You've got to go out of your comfort zone, your
Mhm.
circles, you just, you have to. You can start there. That's your powerhouse, right?
Mhm. And I didn't fully commit to networking until about a year ago. Like
Really?
we learn as business coaches and our training, like you gotta network, you gotta go to events, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And I was like, nah, I'm good. Don't know what. But then once I started to network, I started making connections with people that were helping me grow and reach the goals that I had.
That's
So
right.
it's so powerful.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you started doing it, and I
Oh
can
yeah.
help you.
Oh
I can
yeah.
help you along the way. And I know, I'm trying to like get rid of the shadow here. I know so many people that are so wonderful and so giving and so caring. And, you know, even when I was going through the divorce, which was a long divorce, it was, if I knew that I needed to do tapping or breathing or a mindset change or just a meditation or EMDR or whatever I needed to do to get out of that situation I was currently in, mentally, psychologically, I knew who to call. And they always, always answer the phone, or they would write me back, can I call you back? Are you okay?
Mhm.
Immediately. Are you okay?
Yep.
Because there's
Yep.
so many, and I didn't pay these people. These were my genuine friends, right? And
Exactly.
they
Yep.
weren't friends I had before. They
Mhm.
were newer friends. They were
Mhm.
friends I had within that year or 2 years, right? So, because some people don't understand what you're going through, and some people do. You
Mhm.
just have to find the ones who do,
Exactly.
you know?
Yep.
And trust is hard. Trust is hard.
It's very hard. Very hard.
In your life, Nick, have you had people that you trusted that betrayed you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A
How did
lot.
that make you feel?
Horrible.
Ugh,
It's awful.
it's the worst.
Yep. Yeah.
It's the worst. But does that mean you shut yourself out and away from everyone? Maybe for a
No.
little bit. A
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
mean, a little
A little bit.
bit, but then you get back out there, meet new people. Yep.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's the joy of networking. Now for you, it might be a little bit more challenging. Like, do you go out more or are you virtual more?
More virtual right now, but I want to keep getting out more and more because that's a lot more fun.
So much more fun. I
Uh,
know. And you and I have been together like 3 or 4 times, maybe.
yep.
We've been to growth cons together.
Yep.
We've been to Grant Cardone's home office
Perfect.
together.
Yep. Yep.
Masterminds. You
Yep.
were already certified before me, though.
E,
I think I'm only a year.
same.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got
Yeah.
certified when I got certified?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I've only been to that one time. So yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure we got certified together.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
So I thought
Yeah.
you just seemed like everyone knew you and you were in it and
I
seasoned.
think I was in it long, like I was, but like you got started the process after
I
I
had
did.
I had a couple months to do the
Yeah,
whole thing.
exactly. And I think I told you like you're crazy. I can't
I
believe
was
you got that
I
done.
was a record breaker. I
Yeah,
was the quickest certified coach that they had had.
yep. So God, how long was I was in for? I think 10 or 11 months before I got certified. So I was, in it way longer. But
I love it. So
yeah,
what are you doing to change the world?
I am. sharing my story and talking about how you can do anything. Like if you set your mind to something, you can almost always figure out a way to get it done. And I want to empower more people who have special abilities to get out there and figure out what they can do for themselves to make the world a better place.
I love
Because
that.
I see so many people with, you know, disabilities that just use that as an excuse. And I just want to empower more people to stop doing that. Put yourself out there a little bit, get outside your comfort zone, and just figure out how you can help others. Because let me tell you, when you help someone and you see that you help them, that's the best feeling ever.
Have you heard of the term butterfly effect?
Yes, I've heard of it. Can you remind me what it is?
Yeah, so the butterfly effect, it's almost like paying it forward.
Hmm.
That's how I say it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so it's like, so I, for example, there'll be times where I'll be in a grocery store line and a homeless man that I see around a lot in
Hmm.
my area in Arizona. He, when he gets money, he goes to the grocery store and buys like a drink and some food or whatever.
Hmm.
So I have in the past, not even just for homeless men, I've done this for like women who look like they're just like overwhelmed.
Hmm.
Is I'll be in front of them and I'll pay for their groceries and then I leave. And then they get up and then the person's like, "Oh, she already did it."
Hmm. Yep.
Like, because what I'll do is I'll stand around like I'm dilly dallying to get my bags, and
Hmm.
then they'll scan. I've already paid, but then they
Hmm.
scan, and then I do it so quickly, and with tap, it's easier.
Oh yeah.
Um, and the hope, the hope is that that will change their day. They'll
Oh
be
yeah.
less upset. They'll be less angry. They'll be less depressed.
Hmm.
Maybe they'll do it for someone else. Like it's the pay it forward. You are kind to someone. That kindness is contagious, right?
Yep.
We've been to Miami,
Hmm.
and this was just an amazing moment for me. um, I've been to Miami with my boyfriend, like he'll come sometimes when I go, right? And we were walking on the street, like in a shopping area, and we had to go to CVS for something. And there's a homeless young guy on sitting there with a sign on the floor, on the ground outside of CVS. And my boyfriend says to him, "What's your favorite drink?" And it totally took the guy, like, and he told him, the Gatorade. And he goes, "What's your favorite snack?" And he told him. We went inside. He goes, "Get a cart." I'm like, "But I just need one thing." He goes, "Get a cart." I'm like, "Oh, are we getting?" We filled a cart up with, it was so fun too. We
Yep.
filled the cart up with his favorite drinks and favorite snacks, added in way more like gum and water, like all kinds of stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I even threw in like Tylenol, like just things that necessities, right?
Yep. Yep.
And so then we went and checked out, and we had bags and bags from CVS. All we went in, I think, was for sunscreen. So all we needed was one thing. We went in and we said, "Here you go," and we just walked away. You don't need to.
No.
The guy was like, he was so dumbfounded. He was so in shock. He
Yeah.
was like, "But
Uh.
you left your stuff." "No, it's for you."
Yeah.
And we just kept walking because
Hmm.
you don't need to hear the thank you. You don't need to hear the
No.
appreciation. You don't need to hear, that's not why you're doing it. You're doing it because you were literally changing someone's life
Oh yeah.
in a moment, right?
Yeah. And that's a lot like one of the things that I do every December. Every December, I go to Applebee's. I usually go twice. So the first time I go, what I do is it's usually me, my friend, or a couple friends. I I pay for the table, and I tip whatever the bill is. The amount the bill is, that's what the waitress gets as a tip.
Wow.
And then we go back, and that time I pick a table, always a family with at least two kids, and I pay their bill. But I always leave before anybody finds out.
Right.
I leave.
I
So
love that. So,
yeah.
okay, so so what you do in December is you bring a group of friends, you have dinner or
Mhm.
whatever, you pick up the tab, and if the tab is, let's say, $269, you give $269 in gratuity. So
Exactly.
100% gratuity,
Yep.
and then you pay for family as well. That's a great
Mhm.
idea. I love that.
Yeah. 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 I like it.
Yeah, and my boyfriend's very generous like that too, and he
Yeah.
always picks up the tab. It made my
My dad,
parents
yeah,
nuts.
my dad was always like that. So that's just how I am, you
Paying
know?
it forward.
Mhm.
I love
Yep.
that. You see? And that's the thing, and it doesn't mean you have to do I went to a networking group recently, and I picked up the tab for everyone, which is not something I normally do because it was like 300 some dollars,
Yep.
but it's something that he would have done. So I did it because it for some reason, it felt like something that I should do.
Yep.
And, it's not even a network group that I joined. It just
Mhm.
was young women and, they were starting out and I just wanted to do it.
Yep.
It was not even planned. It just
And it's also a good feeling when you are able to do that for someone.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
So, and it is a good feeling, and I will tell you that in my religious beliefs of, being Jewish, they say that you should give charity, which is tzedakah in Hebrew, even when you feel like you can't afford
Yep.
to. That's
Yep.
when you do it because God rewards you even more.
Mhm.
And the other term in Hebrew that we live by is tikkun olam. And tikkun olam means making the world a better place.
Mhm.
And that's why we're very charitable people
Mhm.
by nature, because that's what keeps our world going, right?
Yep.
So we always are giving back in charity. Now, fortunately, in the state of Arizona, we have what's called a tax credit,
Mhm.
which is where you can donate a certain amount. It's over 1,000 for someone who's single. It's over 2,000 for a married couple who files jointly, and you can give a certain amount to schools. So my son went to a school for kids with disabilities. It's elementary all the way through high school. He was only there a couple years because we moved here. He was a junior in high school.
Yep.
But so we would give tax credits, and then it's a private school, so that money goes towards the tuition of any kid you name. So if we had any family, friends, or neighbors, or people we just know who doesn't give their full amount to another charity, they can give their amount, and they put it in the notes in the name of my son or someone else.
Mhm.
And so it's wonderful because it makes private schools more affordable for those who can't afford it.
Yep.
And there were like when I was interviewing schools here in Arizona when we lived in Canada, and I was looking to move the kids here halfway through the year, which is horrible. Didn't want
Mhm.
to do that. It was like we had to. He wasn't he wasn't doing well in Canada's school system. In Vancouver, they don't have a good program for people on the with disabilities, certain level, especially high functioning. And
Yep.
so there were 5 schools I interviewed. I couldn't believe it. 5 schools that give you a high school certification. You don't have to do high school online plus go, like which they were making you do in British Columbia. Like there was
Mhm.
so much to offer. It was unbelievable. I was amazed. And so I was grateful that it brought us here at the right time.
Yep.
And now he's an astronomy major. He's going to be an astrophysicist. He's a junior in college. Like that's mind boggling to me
That's
that
awesome.
he's
That's
able to
so
go to university.
Mhm.
He's got a year and a half left or whatever. Actually, this year's almost over. It's crazy.
Yep. Yep.
So I love
Awesome.
that. And that's about stepping out of your comfort zone, going somewhere
Mhm.
you don't know, trying new things, get out there, get out there, get out there. And if you feel like you're alone, bring someone along for the ride.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. All right. Well, we should probably wrap this up, but I gotta ask you. As you know, my slogan is "Your abilities are infinite." What does that mean to you?
Well, I it's interesting. I actually had a learning disability I still have it, but growing up they diagnosed me, and I was told that I wasn't smart because I would fail not exams, but standardized tests,
Mhm.
PSATs, SATs, the Californias, whatever the standardized test was growing up. And so I never thought that I could be something, an entrepreneur, and really, run a business. I'm not good in math. I'm not good in science. My memory is not great. I don't memorize well. Yet here I am. And so, and I'm an author. I'm a best-selling author, and I have a book signing at Barnes and Noble tomorrow. Like, that's insane. I'm writing, and I'm podcasting, and I'm a business coach, and I think today we decided life coach is in there. And so
Yep.
all these things, I was told to marry rich at one point.
Mm. Yep.
And be just a housewife. And look at me now, single mom. I'm doing it. Am I where I want to be yet? No, but I'm working my way up there. So just keep going, because we all have superpowers and abilities beyond what we think we have, and we have to turn off the noise and what other people are saying to us, because that childhood trauma or
Oh.
marital trauma or whatever the trauma you have, wherever it's coming from, it could come from a sibling, a neighbor, a friend, a coworker, a boss, whatever. You got to shut that out and really put the positive, futuristic where you're going to be.
Yep.
Visualize it, write it down.
Write it
Samara,
daily.
yeah, Samara Beth, Samara Beth Hurley, you can remember it as, tomorrow comes early, and think about how tomorrow should look for you, and just do it.
Yep. Yeah, I gotta touch on one thing that you said. Block out the noise and block out what other people are saying to you. Because let me tell you, I've been told that I can't do things my whole life, and guess what? I figure out a way to do them every single time. And I want to touch on one more thing. Embrace yourself. Embrace who you are. Because I know for you, you've had people tell you that you're too much, you're too loud. And that's just who you are. That makes us love you. Like, I know, like, the first day I saw you on a call, like, I knew who you were that day, and I never forgot you. And that's good to have. So, yeah, I love your energy. I love talking to you every time. So, thank you so much for being on the show.
You're gonna make me cry.
Oh,
That was really sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for having me. It's such an honor,
of
and
course.
I'll come on anytime.
I think we definitely got to do this again because I know there's a lot more that we can talk
No,
talk
we
about.
we unwrapped a lot today.
Yeah, yeah.
Therapy session over.
Right, right. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye.
If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me in it, the Nick Your Heart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth and help more people. Alright, everyone, remember, your abilities are infinite.